Welcome back to Miss Avery's Library. Today we're going to read 4 Perfect Pebbles, and it's by Lila Perl and Marion Blumenthal. Lazan. Okay, ready? Here we go. Chapter 2, A Small Town in Germany. Hoya, that was the name of the small town where Marion had lived there for the first 4 years of her life. It lies on the Weser River in North Germany, about halfway between the cities of Hanover and Bremen. Like many of the old towns along the river, its streets were lined with pointy-roofed merchants' houses. For the Weser was an outlet to the North Sea. And my guess there with the North Sea is that they trade. Okay, now let's continue. Mama often recalled how... Mama often recalled how, as a young woman of 20, she'd taken a very long train ride across northern Germany to seek her future, and ended up in, of all places, Hoya. Mama, who was born in Ruth Moses, was the eldest of 5 daughters of a German Jewish family living near the city of Tillis. If I'm saying these places wrong, I'm not. It's a little hard to say. So if you know how to say it, put it in the comments below. And let me know what you think is going to happen next as we read this. And make sure you have your book with you. We are on page 11 if you weren't following along and you lost it. We're on paragraph 1 of page 11. Third sentence. Here we go. Let's continue. I wanted to get out of that small place, she told her children. So I answered an ad in the newspaper for a job as a bookkeeper. The first work I got was in Berkau, a place in Westphalia to the south of here. But after a time, I saw an ad for a better job in a shoe store in Hoya. Hoya was even smaller than Berkau, and much smaller than Tillis. It had only 3,000 people and exactly 44 Jews. But I liked it, so I stayed. That's a very, very little Jews. And that was before the Holocaust happened. So keep in mind that. There was more to Mama's story than that. After working just 2 weeks in the Blumenthal's family business in Hoya, she received a proposal of marriage from their son, Walter. And in December 1931, when Ruth was 23 and Walter was 35, the couple married. Marion was born 2 years later on December 20th, 1934. Linnie and Max Blumenthal, Marion's grandparents, whom she knew as Oma and Opa. I'm guessing Oma is the grandma and Opa is the grandpa. If you disagree with me, comment down below. Let's continue. Were as much a part of her early memories as were her parents and her brother. The older Blumenthals lived on the 2nd floor of a tall, sturdy built house in the town center. Marion's family lived on the 3rd floor. On the first or ground floor was the store itself, where Papa and Opa sold shoes and men's and boys' clothing, and where Mama continued her bookkeeping and secretarial duties. Oma cared for Albert and Marion and cooked the evening meal. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Now reading more of the book, I'm getting the contact clues that I'm having my suspicion being true. Oma cared for Albert and Marion and cooked the evening meal, for which the entire family gathered. While Marion, the baby of the family, was being rocked to sleep, the grown-ups sat around the table and talked. We talked. Mama remembered about the store, about the events of the day, and mostly about that man Hitler. He had been around for 10 years or more by the early 1930s. When Albert and Marion were born, as the leader of National Socialist Germany's German Workers' Party, the Nazi Party for short, the National, the German word for national, he ranted against communists, Jews, and gypsies. I'm not really sure. It's, type of people who are just, I'm guessing, and against Soviet people such as Poles and Russians, all of whom he considered inferior. He also denounced any Germans who were crippled, deformed, or mentally ill as being unworthy of extents. I'm pretty sure that's the word, but let me know what you think. Okay, let's get such nonsense. Most people thought at first the man was nothing more than a political crackpot with a small band for followers. Sorry, it was split, so I was confused. And if you don't know what a crackpot is, it means like crazy, kind of. Let's continue. Okay. In 1923, he had served 9 months in jail after a crazed attempt to overthrow the government. His Nazi party was only one of many political parties that were represented by popular vote. In the Reichstag, the lower house of the German parliament. Yet, by 1930, Nazi party had gained an alarming number of deputies in the Reichstag. In a little more than a year, its representatives had increased from 12 to 107. Wow, that's a lot. Let's continue. And 2 years later, in 1932, the Nazi Party, with 37% of the vote, was the largest in Germany. Two splintered policy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Policity. There we go. To form a united front against the Nazis. The other parties had become small and helpless. Why the Blumenthals debated around their family table had been frightening development taking place. One didn't have to look far for the answer. Economic conditions in Germany had been very bad ever since the default of the fatherland in the Great War of 1914 through 1918. And The worldwide depression that hit in 1929 had only made things worse. Hitler insisted that he had the remedy for all Germany's woes. Comment down below if you know what woes it means. I'll look it up after. I do not know what that means. Through his frequent public speeches at massive Nazi-sponsored rallies, he made his message clear. He would restore Germany's honor, increase its territory, and bring back its lost prosperity. His attacks on its enemies within, especially the Jews, grew more and more fraternized, once again along with the taking over the Jewish business and jobs, properties, and bank accounts. Germany's economic... Sorry about that. I guess I skipped a page. I'm so sorry, but let's continue. I'll reread that sentence for you. His attacks on its enemies within, especially the Jews, grew more and more fraternized. Once again, the long smothered hatred of the Jews, known as anti-Semitism, one of the oldest prejudices, I think, in the world, was fanned into flames. In one way, it seems strange that Hitler should pick on Germany's Jews because there were a few of them. They numbered only about 500,000 in a population of 67 million, less than 1% of the German citizenry. I'm pretty sure that's this. But in spite of being a monarchy, they were remarkable, visible on the German scene. True Jews didn't run the giant industries of Germany, such as Krupp, Farben, and Siemens, nor did many Jews hold high political offices, but they were involved in businesses and professions such as banking, merchandising, publishing, medicine, science, and the arts. In the capital of Berlin, where about 1/3 of Germany's Jews lived, in the major department stores were Jewish owned. Rissam, Hermann, Tietz, and North Israel, and the famed Kadiwi, or Kahas, des Western. I am not sure if I'm saying that. I'm so sorry if I'm not. I don't know for sure. Whatever abilities, talents, influence, or wealth the Jews of Germany possessed were seen as the threat by Nazis. What did Jewish people ever do to that? Just think about that as we read on. By the way, if you got lost, I'll get you back. We're on page 14, last paragraph, where we start at today. Here we go. Today, the year that is remembered as the beginning of the official racist activity in Germany, is 1933. On January 30th, Adolf Hitler, as the leader of the majority party, was appointed chancellor or prime minister. by Germany's president, the aged Paul von Hindenburg. The chancellor lost no time in putting his new powers to work. On April 1st, he ordered a nationwide boycott of all Jewish-owned businesses. Signs reading, "Don't buy from Jews," were posted on shop windows in major cities and towns large and small. Hitler's order was enforced by the presence of brown uniformed Nazi stormtroopers who blocked the entrances to Jewish-owned stores, medical offices, and law firms. Did we find this surprising, Mama? As she recalled the 1933 boycott. Yes, in a way. How could it be that people in that small town of Hoya would turn away from us so quickly? Walter's parents had been in business there since 1894. They always have good service and value and were highly respected by their customers from both town and surrounding countryside. Walter grew up in that town. In 1914, at the age of 17, he volunteered for the German army. He served his country in the Great War for 4 years and was awarded the Medal of Honor, known as the Iron Cross. But this was immediately forgotten when Hitler took power. As early as April 1933, a few days after the Jewish boycott began, children ran through the street throwing stones at Albert's baby carriage. As the boycott continued, business dropped off the store. That is part 1. I will be reading part 2 in a day. Thank you. Bye.